Enjoy your meeting.
Give me the class of 2001. Who is it again?
Just a reminder, today's meeting is being recorded.
Hernando Carter, class of 2001.
Hey, Hernando, how you doing, man?
Hey, how you doing, brother James?
Welcome. Okay, 2001 is in the house.
Curtis Midkiff, class of 1996, Olympic class.
Curtis, great to hear from you, man.
Good to hear from you, sir. How are you?
Excellent. All right, 96 is in the house. Who else?
Ball, class of 71.
Okay, you give me your first name. I couldn't quite hear you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Alfred Ball, class of 71.
Yes, how you doing, Alfred? Welcome.
David Ferguson, class of 1981.
Okay, 1981, Dave Ferguson. Welcome aboard.
This is Gerald Brown, class of 1981, calling in from sunny Los Angeles.
All right. A lot warmer there, I know.
Don't rub it in.
Say don't rub it in.
Just so you know.
All right, welcome.
Thank you.
James Borkin is trying to get in now.
Okay.
What's happening?
I think it was James Boykin.
Yes. He's trying to get in now.
Okay, no problem.
I can't get in.
James, are you here with us? Oh, not? Okay. Anyone else online?
You got Justin Major here, class of 2011.
How you doing, Justin?
Pretty good, how are you?
Doing excellent. All right.
You also have Isaiah Scott here, class of 2011.
Okay, Isaiah, how you doing?
Great. How about yourself?
Excellent. All right. Anyone else online? All right, excellent. As others come on, please let us know you're here. We start with those who are local with us. Please make sure to you just identify yourself. Start over here. Okay, Wendell Bryant, class of 86. Next. Adam Smith, that's 86. Okay, Jonathan, welcome.
Henry, we cannot hear the names, so if you could repeat the names would be helpful because we can't hear them on the phone.
Thus far, we've had Wendell Bryant, class of 86. Adam Smith, class of 86. Jonathan Leonard, class of 86. And my phone has got to go off right now. Next time I couldn't call. Okay. Next. Charles West, class of 66. Charles West, class of 66. Thank you. Clayton Powell, class of 76. That's Clayton Powell, class of 76.
See, Clayton.
Rodney Howard, class of 76. Yeah, that was first. All right, next. Class of 1981. You got to say it. All right, Jonathan Southall, class of 81. All right. Next. Okay, Dash Cooper, class of 2001. Welcome aboard. Yes, sir. Who's next? Shannon Nelson, class of 2001. Okay, we got a great turnout, great representation today. Anyone who's not checked in and given their introduction today to us, please do so at this time. Not, we want to try to get things moving. Our calls will last no more than an hour. If they last longer, it will be because you have questions, and we will be able to sort of take some of them offline, but we want to be able to have everyone benefit from many of the questions, so we'll try to keep it to an hour. respect that. A few housekeeping rules. We want to sort of talk a little bit about, this is one of many things going on at the college. We've got reunion planning, we've got gala planning, we've got a lot of things going on. But the first thing I want to make sure that you know is that we have Founders Day coming up. It is Founders Day coming up, and that is the 13th of February, 11th through the 13th of February. And so we hope that many of you have received your notices and people have already started purchasing tickets. Tickets will be going on through the 29th of January, so please make sure you can do that. Just know that all gifts outside of the cost of food also count toward gifts that will count toward your class giving. So everything that an individual gives will count toward giving to your class effort. The second part of our housekeeping is we need to make sure that we review the confidentiality agreement. Very important that the information that we entrust to you of a classmate, a fellow classmate's information is protected. So everyone who has not completed your confidentiality agreement, we can send it to you, or we have them here locally here, but we need to make sure that today you're on record as having completed all confidentiality information. The second part of this is we need for everyone, this goes without saying, to operate, with integrity, which means if you're going to be approaching people for gifts, we want for you to be the example. So we need for you to make sure that you are a committee of one, at least who's already made your gift toward your class reunion effort. It adds credibility to your ask of others. Now we're going to start a little bit with reunion trivia. What you may see now on the screen is in the first column is look at your lifetime. These are classes who've achieved $1 million lifetime giving since your existence. So we look at the class that's raised the most, the class of 61. That's $2.81 million in your lifetime. Class of 75, $1 million. So these are the classes that have achieved $1 million in their lifetime. This is cash. Okay. The next category looks at what classes have raised the most, have the largest class participation. As you see, the class of 2010 achieved that, 97.86 giving. You wonder how in the world, my goodness, with 4 and 5, what did they do? Well, here's one of the things that you can think about in your creative sessions. Actually, think about what events you want to have, what opportunities you want to have, and come up with something divided by the number of your classmates. We know you're going to have some people who may not be able to do it, but you can have activities and events and make those gifts in their name, and that soft credit will be counted to those persons, and they increase your level of participation. Cash and soft credits, in this case, all sort of count toward your giving. Okay? That's what the class of 2010 did, and they did that while they were here. Very important. Yes? Soft credits are not, hard credit is a check you write, your credit card. Soft credits are those gifts that are given on your honor, or given on behalf of you. So, yes? But they only count if you've already made a gift. So for the audience that's not here, it only counts if you've already made your gift. So they can't make a gift for you and you have not led yourself. Even if it's $50, something needs to be in the docket by your name, and that's not a zero for it to count. Okay? Take a look. The next column says the last 5 years reunion performance. Now, although the other classes, the 2015, 14, 13, those years are important, we really want to pay particular attention to 2011 because in that year, that's the last time you were in reunion. The top class that year was the class of 1986. They raised in cash $91,000. Their total raise of the total raise that year of $448,000. So again, we're trying to give you those tidbits of facts so that you can sort of keep yourselves moving toward the next level. The next section talks about the goal. Well, our goal for this year is $1.4 million. Okay, so we've achieved. If you see 2015, $1.179 million. That was cash. Again, we've had to back ourselves out of this pledge business because brothers are not necessarily always forthcoming with fulfilling them. So we have to make sure that our culture changes, and then we're really into cash or something that's even on your behalf, but it's something that we can count and spend to help these students, okay? The last part of this is really sort of talking about in what reunion year had the highest participation, and you can see them. One of the things that you'll notice, though, if you take a look at the top chart and the bottom chart, is that the top chart, you know, the dollars from 2010 to 2015 actually increased. So we're raising more money, but if you take a look at the bottom chart, you're seeing a decrease. In 2010, 2015, the numbers are going down. That is what we've got to really make sure we control for. The best way to control for that, can't see the screen? Those who are listening, can you see the screen?
No.
No.
You can or you cannot? You cannot see the reunion trivia screen?
Cannot, no.
Okay, just 1 second, please. While we're working on that, one of the things you need to know about how we control for increasing the level of participation is everybody every year needs to be doing this consistently. The only way you have to create a culture of consistent giving so that when you get to your reunion year, it's not a false, you know, theory. Oh, yeah, I got to do that. If it's something you're always doing and then your reunion year, you step up even more, it's a learned behavior that you want to have, that has us not sort of looking for it. Because one of the things that happens, every year we tend to go up in number of students and graduates. So if they come in and they are not already contributing to the pot, they sort of carry our percentages down because they're not adding to it. So we need to make sure that everybody's got to be doing something, and when new people come in, they've got to be adding to it. Otherwise, we'll find ourselves either stagnant or going down. Okay? Can everyone see now the reunion trivia?
No,
You still cannot see it.
I haven't seen anything you've been talking about so far. Just a screen with all the people's names on it. That's all I'm able to
Okay, so you have not seen anything thus far.
No.
Okay.
I can't even open the site.
You can't even open the site?
No, right?
Okay, just 1 second. Just 1 second, please. We're going to take 2 seconds.
Clicking.
Okay, we're learning that if you're on Internet Explorer, it might not open it. If you go to Firefox, is that right? Did we send a little notice out to them? Sure. Okay, even if you can't follow it on the screen, we will make sure that the sessions are there for you to follow after it, and we can send you the presentation itself.
All right, do that.
We're sending it to you now, in fact. Okay. The next thing for our audience who can't be with us right now, can't join us right now, we're just really going to talk a little bit about some reunion quick facts. Reunion is May 13th through the 16th, 2016. Our host hotel is the Ritz-Carlton. You may make room reservations now. That phone number is 404-694-0400. All right, the room rate is $179. Our overflow hotel is the Hyatt Regency Atlanta. And the phone number there is 404-577-1234. The rate is $159. Okay? So we also want to make sure that registration is also up and going, and early bird registration begins March 1st. So there's no reason for people to have to wait. They can get started right now signing up and registering for reunion. There are at least 2 packages out there, Package A, Package B for your guests, and you'll see the details of what's included in those. We ask that you go ahead and get those, get started with those right away. And ask you to have your classmates get started right away. Okay? If you are not, if you have friends who are coming who are not necessarily in reunion and they only want to do registration only, that package is out there as well. It's like Package C is $175, so you'll have to find that information out there, and the ability to buy extra tickets. Okay. Now the next area gets into how we're going to recognize your success. For our philanthropy awards. The philanthropy awards will be passed out and announced during reunion weekend at the banquet. That banquet is Saturday evening. It will start at 6:30. It will be immediately following baccalaureate at the Ritz-Carlton. And I think what you'll find it a little unique this time because we are going to have a number, I think some very, a number of awards that will spur, some creativity with giving. So, for example, we will recognize the top 3 classes with the highest percentage of alumni who make outright gifts to the school in 2016. The period that we're counting is July 1, 2015 through June 30th, 2016. We would like to have all gifts in, as many as possible before reunion weekend. So it would be awesome to use April 30th as your baseline deadline. Everybody get your gifts in April 30th. What does it do? It allows us to have enough time to run reports. So when you come to see how much further we have to go to meet goals, we're not counting something that's still in the mail or didn't get processed in time and things like that. Okay? Next, we'll have the class with the largest total amount raised from the beginning of the fiscal year. That will be one recognition element. Then, as someone asked recently, how do we account for monies that we do when we're not in reunion? There'll be an award. First time we will unveil a 4-year cumulative class gift. That encourages everyone to make gifts in between the time that we're in reunion so we can get you into an every man, every year, everybody giving, protecting this house every year sort of mindset. So this is a way to sort of recognize that. Given to the class with the largest total amount raised since your last reunion. So we will continue to count what's going on with your class even while you're not in reunion. Special recognition will be given to the reunion alumnus who has also the most consistent giving. So we know we've heard of a lot of your classmates, oh, I give every year and I don't hear anything. It's an opportunity for us to recognize that it's consistent. Okay? Now, in order to further recognize top donors per class, a separate reunion recognition reception is now held on the Friday of homecoming. So when we end the year in June, we now recognize those folks in a major donor reception for reunioners at homecoming. The date for that is going to be October 28th, 2016. Okay? This year we held our first one. It was excellent. And it really gave an opportunity, and we invited those of you who had a reunion coming up for this year to be a part of it, so you can see what happens at the homecoming reunion reception. Yes. Oh, I forget where's the question. Yeah, the question, Adrian. What happened you invited those of us who class agents who were in reunion this year. You didn't get one. Okay, so we'll make sure we capture that. So anybody who was in reunion this year, we wanted to make sure that you could see how it would happen next year. And those of you who were there, you know that. We committed you will make sure you're there for the next one. Will you be at this one? Yes, Adrian?
One thing to note.
You got to come up here because they can't hear.
The difference between what happens at the banquet and what will happen at homecoming. Homecoming is really to recognize individual reunion donors. So the top 25 individual donors for reunion. So it doesn't matter which class versus just focusing on the entire class. Because a lot of gentlemen have been preparing to move to these next levels. And so the more we start practicing your individual giving, making your stretch gifts, and recognizing that, it carries over for future recognition celebrations as well.
Okay. Okay, so I think that's all we need. That's all we have on the Philanthropy Awards. We know that we have other opportunities to recognize both in Homecoming and Founders Week. And we also, so we have 3 times that we will recognize your giving and support. Reunion, Homecoming, and Founders Week. Okay? Now we want to talk a little bit about the organizational structure. And this is where I really wish our guys could see, but they can't right now. But everyone should be familiar with it. We've had this out for a while, especially for those who were class chairs. We've organized the structure for reunion a bit differently. We now have tried to spread the work out beyond 2 people carrying the whole load. So we asked for every class who should have already organized by now, a reunion chair, deciding who that person is, a strategy co-chairs, one being a local person so that the person in New York can have a person in Atlanta that can help do some of the running around for facility, whatever you're trying to do for your class gathering, a memorial agent. That person should be letting us know, this person from my class, passed last week, or I see him on our list and he's no longer, with us, so that we can make sure our records are reflected accordingly. A social media chair. This person right there keeps information, sets up your Facebook page, gets whatever you need to be in social media, so you find a way and communicate to us to let us know that you've got your page out there and you're communicating with your classmates. A chaplain, for obvious reasons, to make sure that there's somebody sort of letting us know what's happening with with falling brothers. An activities chair. That person sort of organizes your activities throughout the weekend. It may be parties with Stallman, but whatever. The challenge we have is that there's everybody doing something, but nobody reporting. And then the people who are not really connected with your class, they call into us and say, what's going on with my class? Guess what? We don't know it. It's being planned. Now we'll say we'll direct them to your site, because every class has now their own site, which hopefully has all of your activities. The whole point of this is to engage people differently than they've ever been engaged before, and make sure they know that's not an excuse for people not being actively involved with your class and with the college. And of course, the communications chair. Hopefully somebody is pushing messages out, hey guys, we're having our class meeting on XYZ, we're going to be in New York, the guys in LA are getting together, whatever it takes, we want to make sure that there's ultimate communication going on with your class. The next document really deals with, I'm sorry, question. Yes, Adrian.
The communications chair, just so you all are going to find
they need to hear you here.
a lot of different information, updated information that the college does not have. That's your most recent email.
Hello?
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 Did they drop us?
I hope they did. I think maybe they dropped us by accident. I don't know.
Or they put us on mute, one or the other.
I'm
They
thinking
muted their
that
own
they
phone.
should be able to get back in.
Can any of you see
Yeah.
the files? Can any of you see the files?
No, I just see the Evite mask, when I go online.
Nobody, is
Yes,
anyone seeing them?
There's nothing in the file. What she said, there's nothing in that file. There's no file.
Well, they are going to be updating the file folder. I do know that. They're going to be updating the file
Yes,
folder.
are you all there?
afterwards, So,
No, we're here.
And Darren's telling? Perfect.
yeah.
We lost you guys.
All right, we know that was a little human error here.
Okay.
All right, so happy to have you back. The next document really deals with the organizational structure, and it's really not one we're going to go into, but you'll see it to see what the overall structure is and how it fits in our overall giving strategy. Now, the next report is as important as anything else, and it's really an update on how your class has been performing to date. Because brothers are on the line who cannot see the slide, I will make sure to read off your classes and how we're doing. The class of 51 has raised $16,525 thus far, 6 donors out of 36. They have a goal of $50,000, and they're about 33% of their goal. Class of 56 has raised $500 thus far, 1 donor out of 35, toward a $50,000 goal. 1% of the goal is achieved. Participation rate is 2.86. The class of 61, $31,800, 10 donors out of 74, and each of the numbers, when I say out of, exclude members who are lost and deceased, and or deceased. So the class of 61, 10 out of 74, your participation rate is 13.51, goal 75,000, percent of goal is 42%. Class of 66, $7,150, 13 donors out of 70, about 18% participation rate, goal of 75,000, 9.53% of goal. Class of 71, 22,626. We've got 13 donors out of 100. 13% is participation. Participation. Out of $75,000 is your goal. 30% of goal. Class of 76, 11,956. 11 donors out of 124, or 8%, 8.8% participation. $140,000 is your goal. 8.54% is the goal met. Class of 81, $33,218. 16 donors out of 176. 9.09% participation. Goal of $250,000. 13.29% of goal. Class of 86, 61,390. That's 14 donors out of 153. That's 9.15%. Out of $150,000 goal, you get 40.93% of your goal. Class of 91, $71,605. 18 donors out of 265. 6.79% participation. 150,000 is your goal. You get 47.74% of goal. Class of 96, 19,555. That's 18 out of 360 people. That's 5% of your goal. $150,000 is the goal. You're at 13%. Class of 01, you get $30,500. That's 23 people out of 426. You're at 5.4%. $150,000 goal. You're at about 20.33%. Class of 06, 16,898. 17 people out of 440. You get 3.86% participation. $50,000 is your goal. You get 33.8% of goal. The class of 11, $675. You have 5 donors out of 393. That's 1.27%. Of a $25,000 goal, you're at 2.71%. Our total cash and soft credits raised this year, thus far is $324,699 from 166 people. Our goal is 1.4, so we're right at about 23% of goal thus far. So we've got a lot of work to do, but at least you know where you are, where you stand. One of the things that will happen is at the reunion banquet, each class chair, or class leader, whoever the person designated to speak on behalf of your class, will come up and bring his class gifts to the institution, present to the president, to the chair. And one of the rules are, the longer you talk must be the more you have to say financially. So if you come and want to have a lot to say, we're going to anticipate something big in the end. Or you're going to get chastised greatly. So I know that that everybody that we throw the gauntlet down now. Say the challenge is on. You know where you've got to go. You know what your goal is. We've had some classes where if they didn't have anything to say, some of the class agents just didn't show up. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. The facts are whatever your facts are, and present them. You are the representative for your class. Now, most of you will be in competition with your counterparts at Spelman, and they will tell you, we're going to outdo everything over here. Whatever motivates you, we need if they're motivated for the Spelman student, our guys can be no less motivated for Morehouse than Morehouse. So we need to make sure we keep our eyes focused on what's important, and these students, and how we help them make the cost of education remain affordable for them. I've got tons of opportunities right now where students just simply don't have it, and they don't know what to do. Where the Morehouse man should be at least a part of the solution, and this is where you're going to help. Okay? I think the last part of this really sort of talks. I'm sorry. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. So this is how it would work. On reunion weekend, you know, the earlier part of that conversation said, try to make your deadline April 30th so we can run reports and make sure things are in. People are giving their all stocks that got to be converted, whatever you need to do. So that when you come to your class agent meeting on Friday morning, we will provide for you your report. Saturday morning. On Saturday morning, we'll provide your report. It will be your given date. Sorry? The market may not be doing too well, but that has nothing to do with participation. Everybody can give $1. Everybody gets $5. Those guys who can't give anything, your goal is to try to. You got two goals. One is a dollar goal, and one is a participation goal. So if the market's doing whatever, we're in the days of no excuses. You're not gonna say you didn't know what you needed to do in enough time. We're fixing that. We've got the technology out of the way. We just need to make sure we understand this is a place still worth investment. And everybody whose degree is up on the wall should feel as if it is. That's the value of our degree that's important. Yes. So one question, sure. One question brilliantly stated is, why is the participation goal so important? Well, many foundations and corporations base a lot of what they're going to do when they see what the graduates value. If your degree, if it doesn't mean anything to you, why should it mean anything to me? And it really arms the president and those of us who have to talk to other people and say, hey, this is a place that's so worth supporting. Our alumni support it at 75%. So we're not asking you to do anything we're not doing ourselves. Very good point. It's very important that the number we have to say out there is impressive enough to draw someone in to support us as well. It's a part of every kind of rating. The Moody's rating, the U.S. News and World Report rating, all the ratings are important. But we should not need ratings to encourage us to do what we need to do. Because just as many people debunk ratings as you do love them, depending on whether or not how you're placed in the rating. So we don't want to be driven by the ratings. We want to be driven by the cause. And we've got a good cause. It's called Morehouse College, right? So those are the questions that I had. That's all I had before we get to the training portion. Are there any questions about what we presented thus far?
No, just you get the files out.
1 second for me. Let me try to get those that in iMeet land. What's your question?
Well, you need to get the files out because iMeet hasn't worked.
Okay. You said the files are accessible now.
Where?
Okay. I want to unplug that again. Unplug this again. Okay. Duly noted. We'll make sure those files are out. Which means that how they're going to do the training can they do the training without iMeet? Okay, fine. We had another question here in the audience, yes. Okay. Right now we're reconciling our losses. Yes. Okay. 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 So here's just as soon as you possibly can. That should have been already cleaned up. Madeline? The question was, if you look like numbers that we've sent before on the number of your classmates look higher, and now the number you're hearing is lower, we're reconciling based upon what we have as lost and deceased in the record. And
All
we'll try to
guests
make sure
have been
that.
muted.
Sorry?
What we've done is establish a baseline. So we look back to July of 2015. The number of people that we could find associated with this class at that time. That's your baseline. And it's the number that's actually reflected here. Out of, that's the number that you all will work from this year.
For those who may not have been able to hear, is Lucas. We're using a baseline of 2015. We had to start someplace. The interesting thing about Morehouse, man, we're very nomadic. So we just move. And so there's no way that you have to have a time that you say we're going to start here. So as of the end of the fiscal year 2015, we locked that number in. The numbers you will receive, always look at your report. It will say as of a particular date. That will be your standing. Your number will be based upon our record as of the end of the last fiscal year. Otherwise, we're doing things to clean up the database. We could be adding people to your numbers, but they're not adding donors. So then that negatively impacts your participation rate. So that's why we sort of say, hey, these are unless they are a giver. If they're a donor and you want to add them, that's fine. But they can't just sort of say, hey, back 2013, I think, we were getting ready for President Obama, and people were in different classes, and you could only come if you were a member of the 3s and 8s. Imagine how many people sort of say, I was supposed to graduate and whatever. Can I move my stuff over? The problem that is that I'm adding people to somebody's roster, and they're not a donor for that roster. They're just a number, and we don't want to make sure, we want to guard against that as much as possible. Okay? That's all I have for you for right now. We want to get started with the training, and now we're going to call on our friends from Lance, Lucas, and Associates. Thank you.
Okay.
You got to come over. You got to go over here. Yep, and you have to be enunciate.
Okay. So one of the things that Henry mentioned at the beginning is we're trying to better utilize technology across the board, because in past years it seems as though different reunion classes had a different standard. So we've tried to normalize some of those things by at least providing every reunion class with a website that you can find on Net Community, a Facebook page, a Twitter account, and an Instagram account. All of those things can be accessed through the back end of Net Community. And if you have not logged on yet, please log on to Net Community. You can find it by going to alumni.morehouse.edu. alumni.morehouse.edu. That's your URL. Okay? I'm sorry? When you get there, you will have to log in. So every alumnus has an email or a username, and the username, that the naming convention is your first name, dot, last name, and then your class year, just the last 2 digits of your class year, okay, at alumni.morehouse.edu. That is your username if you've never logged in before, okay? Your password is P, the @, SS0RD. So it's password with 2 different characters. The @ the A is an @ and the O is the number 0. P, @ it's lower. @ SS, the @ and then SS, W, the number 0, RD. It looks like the word spelled out password, but the A is the @ and the O is a number 0. Okay? Class year, correct. At alumni.morehouse.edu, which is the same URL that you're using. Okay? And we'll send out those credentials. It should have come out to you all a couple of different times with letters that we've sent out to the reunion chairs, et cetera. So all that information is detailed there. And the training videos will also show you that. So once you're in, every class will have a website, and the website is laid out into several different components. It starts with a letter from the class chair, okay? And as you go down throughout the letter, there are multiple links that will either take you to Facebook, it will allow you to check your own giving record. So Morehouse Men, you can see everything that the college has in the system from the time that the database has been established in 1989. Everything that you have given that we can find on record will be accounted there, okay? It will also allow you to check class notes. So if there are updates based on personal, career information, you could submit those there. As you go down, you can find all of your list of deceased members in your class, those who are missing. We classify individuals who are missing. We do not have a current address, phone number, email address, any of that. So we cannot contact them. So if you find someone, what we're calling on the missing in action list, please let us know so that we can update the database and they can join in the activities. The next section that you'll see is our call to action. And it will take you directly to link to register for reunion, okay, so that it makes it simple. Everything is in one place. Class dues. For those classes that are conducting their own activities where you have your classmates paying, that link will take you to a PayPal account. So that PayPal account, all you have to do is provide your classmates with the email address that's linked to your class bank account, and they can pay directly there. So it's very simple. The class calendar. This is a piece, we will have a training video. I won't go through the details here. But Henry mentioned we want to increase donor participation, we want to increase giving. But the other thing is we really want to increase engagement. And we can't do that if we don't know what activities are held across the country. So the class calendar is really intended for your local agents, your social action chairs, to hold activities in their local markets and to put it on that master calendar for your class. So one recommendation would be for Founders Week, for those who are not in Atlanta or who cannot make it back, have a social event during Founders Week to re-engage and connect in different markets and put those on your calendar. The final section at the bottom is really just talking about results and how you can get there, a couple of different strategies. There's a recurring gift strategy that many of you are already familiar with, the Capra Brown Morehouse Express, so that you can fill this information out, submit your check, and a small portion of money comes out of your bank account every month. That is the easiest way to increase your participation, and it's the easiest way to increase your average gift per classmate. 365 days in a year. If everyone had started planning at July 1st and everyone took out $100 a month, how easy is it to get to $1,000 so that you're invited to the president's reception based on that simple way of giving? Okay? Tracking your progress, that link takes you to the report that we showed earlier. You are always going to get weekly. We will update this tracking report so you can see where you stand against other classes as it pertains to the amount that they've given, how many people have given versus participation, and we'll add another category after March, which will include reunion registrants, so that you can see all the categories that you're competing for except for consecutive giving. You can see where you stand based on all the classes. Okay? One more link that I just want to point out to you. Go down for me, please. The dashboard. For all of the people who are in the leadership committee for your class, you will have a different section. Your class login will look different from anyone else in your class. You'll have this middle section where you'll see a link for dashboard, committee report, and training videos. That is exclusive to you, which is why we need your confidentiality agreement. Okay? So when you click on the committee reports, I want to go there just briefly. We are going to provide you with as much data as we possibly can to help you best analyze and target your classmates for giving so that you're not making your ask too high or too low. So you will have reports that actually show you their historical giving, and that historical giving goes back 10 years worth of your classmates' giving history so that you can kind of see and develop your own individual strategy for how you might want to approach them, okay? Libens and Sibens, let me just give you some definitions of acronyms. And for those who were here, you should have picked up a form that lists out all the names of the committee report, and it gives you the definitions so that you can study that later on. But Libens stands for last year but not this year. These are donors who gave last year, but they haven't given yet this fiscal year. And you may set someone up just to target those people because you know they have a propensity to give, right? They've done it before just last year, so it's an easy ask. Stipend, those are people that have given some years, but not this year. And some years goes back to about 5 to 7 years. So they may have given once within that 5 to 7 year period, but they also have not given this year. So again, you can tailor your conversation, okay, to best approach those individuals. There's a never donor report. These are the people who have never given for your class or anything else, okay? No, this is ever. So a couple things to note. Our database only goes back to 1989, which is when they started collecting data, okay? So if they gave prior to that, it's not on record for us. Some of the things that you may hear are that I've given through the Alumni Association. And I want to make this very clear. The Alumni Association has its own 501c3 tax status. If you give to the Alumni Association, the college does not have your gift on record. And I want to repeat that. If you give to the Alumni Association, your dollars are not counted in these numbers that we're talking about that go directly to the institution to fund, whether it's the annual fund, directly to a scholarship, etc. And a lot of gentlemen get confused because there are different campaigns that will be pushed from the Alumni Association, and they all go to a good cause, but that may be the reason why you think your giving should be higher than what's actually recorded on a report. All of the gifts that you should submit should be made out to Morehouse College and be sent here to the address at the college if you want them to count. Okay? One other piece, there are lots of different reports in here. Some will be downloadable for you through Excel, so you can sort it the way that you want to. You can cut off pieces, send it to the other people who are helping with your committee. There are a couple of strategy ones that I won't go into because we have training videos for that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's a good game. So when we have our fundraising event in New York
Go back.
and LA and Chicago, what's the best way what we do that? Like for the fundraising?
Well, each class should also have a one of the number through my class, which is one of the things that is a very easy way for every class to do. You'll have a unique number. The person they can actually go and give using their phone, and it goes directly to your class. That fund is unique to your class. You can also go online and they can make a gift and check directly to the college. Whatever it is, as long as the funds are accounted for at the college, that's the key.
So not the individual gift. We talk about the actual fundraising.
So when you compile those, you need to send those links once again to the college. 830 Westview Drive.
We can't hear you. We cannot hear you.
All right. Just to be specific, we're not talking about the individual gift.
Yeah, you're talking about once you have aggregated some funds together and you'd like to send those, you send those. The question was, once you have events all over the country, wherever you're doing, how best do you get the funds to the institution? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So the best way to do that is just like you would normally do, Morehouse College, 830 Westview Drive. Make sure that if you send a check, it needs to make sure that you're specific about which class fund is going to, or class effort is going to. Our challenge here is when people think that less is more, and it's not. So less information does not mean it's more clarity. It's just more problems and more delays. So make sure we're very clear. This is going to the class of 2001 fund. It's $10,000, and it gets to Morehouse College. One of these places, one of us will get it. Make sure it gets in the right place. You should then be able to sort of see it reflected in your report. If it's one from the class itself, how are we going to?
About a week.
Okay, about a week ago. So I'm trying to wonder whether or not it goes to the individual names or to a class.
It'll go to the class. It'll count in your class giving. So let me go back because there are two ways that make it very easy if you're on the road and you want to raise money.
Right.
Every single class has a text number. It's specific to your class, and the last 4 digits are your class year, okay? So the class of 1986 might be 404-222, 1986. If you give that number out at an event, they will simply text to that number and put in the dollar amount that they want to give. From there, and that number for every class is listed on your class letter. So another reason to visit your website, put that number in your phone, so wherever you are, to increase your participation or raising money from anyone else on the street, you can easily put that number in. The way it works, and most of you will probably use it at church, a quick message comes back to you when you put the dollar amount in. It will say, thank you for your pledge. From there, it instantly asks you to fulfill your pledge, meaning pay with your credit card. A screen comes up, you put in your credit card information, you choose the fund that you want it to go to. We have selected 3 to 5 funds. One will be for the annual fund, okay? One will be for the general scholarship fund, or if your class has an endowed scholarship fund, your specific class endowed scholarship fund will show up for your class. We also have the Martin Luther King initiative, because it's the initiative that's being supported and pushed for the college right now. And there's usually the President's Discretionary Fund. So at a minimum, you will have those. And sometimes we'll rotate in the Glee Club or whatever else is happening, okay? So I would encourage all of you to use the text to give method, because it's the fastest way to get the dollars in. There's a link there where you can see how much has been raised using the text method right there online.
We used that during homecoming. You may have heard or read, but we used that during homecoming. We had the tailgate challenge. The tailgate is more than just coming for a party. It's actually every tent had a responsibility and had an opportunity to compete for a free tent next time. And so the persons who won that, actually raised $108,000 that day. That day. So it can be used, quite effectively. You make your commitment. The response comes back to you, thanks you. So it says, hey, oh, by the way, it's a way for you to fulfill that. You click on that, you put your information in, you get the instant responses. So once again, we're trying to make sure all of us are using that. When the president's on the road, he has a number. Everybody has a number. When you're out, it's not an excuse for I couldn't find a sheet of paper and all that. Those days are done. We have to come into the 21st century and make sure we stay there. Okay? All right. Yes.
What was it on the report? The lifetime giving, is that goes 10 years as well?
No, the lifetime giving is your complete history from 1989 to the present. How much?
We used 89 because that was the year we started. Actually, okay.
Yes. Yes.
American Express. The question was, can you pay via American Express, Visa, MasterCard, Discover? Again, you're removing the excuse. I'm sorry, you can't take my card. No. Matching gifts, yes.
The question is, are we still taking matching grants from and gifts from corporations? And the answer is yes. A lot of companies have moved toward having their system for matching gifts automated as well. So you have to initiate that match online with your company. Otherwise, we will not know that your match is outstanding. So every company is different, so make sure that you look. When you go to make your gift online, there is a link that says, would you like to check to see if your company does perform a match? And so you can click on there, and it will give you the details.
It'll tell us that you are with a match with the company.
You have to initiate.
You cannot do anything until you initiate the matching gift.
Ms. Bolton is just indicating that you have to initiate that you made the gift so that the match takes place and is sent to the college.
Yeah.
Does that match go under the person's name that gave it?
Yes.
The question is, does the match go to the donor? The answer is yes. The other driver we have for you this year is, and we said we're going to hold until next time, but I got to talk about it, and that is the Coke Challenge. You've seen an email that sort of talks about the Coca-Cola Company has issued a challenge to Morehouse men, to Spelman women, to Spark Atlanta graduates. And it really is really to encourage alumni participation, alumni giving over your previous year's giving. What they will do is they will match up to $1 million anything that alum gives. If you gave nothing last year, if one guy came and said, I'll give $50,000 now, they will match that $50,000 1-to-1. If he gave $40,000 last time, they'll match the $10,000 1-to-1. So there are all kinds of incentives to help us do well with this, but you've got to know what they are and how to push them. Today, I referenced a case. I'm going to use younger alums. Has been more of a challenge to sort of get them in buying into this. One came on and said, hey, my wife and I would like to do this. We want to give him more, and we'll make sure he goes to a scholarship fund. Will he apply to the Coke? Absolutely. Your name has to be a part of that, so they're matching what you do. It can't be in your wife's name, your mother's name. It's got to be in your name. They will then match that, and we have that program running through the end of June. So you have a chance to sort of, and that includes, they won't match, the company won't match what Coke does, but your company will match what you do, and Coca-Cola will match what you do. So in that case, he tripled his benefit to the institution. One for himself, one from his company, and the other part from Coca-Cola. All you have to do is you give it. We'll let you know. You'll go and get it. We'll know what your giving record is, and you will know, what did I do last year? They're going to match whatever you did last year. If you did 0 and you do all of it now, they will match all of it. If you did some of it, they'll match the portion that's the increase. We're trying to keep people giving and making sure we are encouraging increasing what you do to support the school. Yes.
And the totality of that gift, if we're in a union, is counted towards that union.
For recognition purposes, yes, absolutely. For example, if you have a fund, that Coke gift may not necessarily have in that fund because it's going to present up to $1 million to where the college needs it the most. It's a challenge to where the college needs the dollars the most. But what they do for you as an individual is to say, T. Alexander West gave $5,000 here, and he didn't get $5,000 last year. We're going to match all $5,000 of that. And that's going to be $10,000 when it's time for recognition purposes.
For the class.
For the in the class, absolutely.
So it counts towards the goal.
It counts towards the goal, right.
And then $1 million.
Everything you do counts toward your class goal. As long as your name is associated with and affiliated with this class, you're going to run across classmates who thought their name was listed, but it's not in your report. Someone has to reconcile those names and get those students, and you as an agent have to say, I want to let this guy in. He is one of ours. But you should be letting him in as a donor, not somebody who's going to carry you down because he's not a donor.
Is it $1 million
Total, up to $1 million. If we get to it, trust me, if we get to $1 million, it'd be awesome. All right? And so we want to be the first one to get to this because who knows? We may want to approach schools and say, listen, I don't know what's happening with these other schools, but we've met ours. Can we get to the next level? I need you all to sort of have that kind of presence of mind that we can get there, as quickly as possible so that we can have other conversations. Who knows, the next time it might be a $2 million match because Morehouse has been stepped up more than anyone ever thought. That's what we want people to be. Okay?
Mr. West.
I know there was some communication around.
Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah, we passed it. It came out to you during the holidays. Remember, it said a holiday fee, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Can we get that again?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
and that one, we'll have one that won't have the holiday fee.
appeal.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
We've got some.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
So that's a good segue.
Repeat what you just said.
Mr. West asked whether or not Dr. West asked whether or not the Coke Challenge match, we would send out additional information. There was one that came out at the end of the calendar year, and we will continue to send it out with various appeals throughout the course of this fiscal year so that everyone can have the opportunity to take advantage of that match.
You may see a March Madness match. You may see a Valentine's match. You may see, so the whole point of it is to keep it going and use your social media to talk about it. Use social media to talk about it.
Okay. So it's 7:10. This last piece, I just want to, on the back of your website, there is a link called Training Videos, okay? We will continue to put videos online to help you with additional strategies. It will detail out how the text challenge works. The Coke Challenge will be there, etc. We're only going to share one tonight. We had time for 3 earlier, but we're running out of time. So let me take you through one that is on appeals. And it really helps you get into the frame of mind of how you should be running the